think we're live. Hello, everybody. How we doing?
Hey.
This is your Venice Elder here with amazing people. I'm just checking the stream just to see how we're doing. Oh, you can see me twice.
What's better than one, Michele?
Two, Michele.
and
Dual Michele.
It's like off. Hold on. Let me just do something quickly here. Let me just get rid of this. Delete, remove, and I'm just going to see whether that's better. 2 seconds. Hold on. Give me just a sec.
Okay, it sounds like our sound's working, so that's good.
It is, yeah. Isn't it amazing? Freaking finally. Hold on. I think then
This
all
is
I've got to
way.
do is pull this. Oh, hold on. What am I doing? Remove it. Yes. Go away. Go away. Go away. Go away. You're gonna go here, and you're gonna go here, and you're gonna go. Sorry, everybody. Just you know, doing the. Oh, no, not that one. Transform, stretch to screen. Sure. Let's give that a good try. And then I'm gonna go like this, and then we'll see how that looks.
Wow.
So, welcome again. We are here with Amara and Rook and Thorum. Oh wow, you guys all look stretched out like crazy people. Hold on. Oh wow, no, that's not gonna work either. Lol. I can only
I'm gonna
see,
get the chat up so that
I can only see,
see.
Amara and Rook. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And the logo.
And the logo, yeah, we like that. Let me have a look here. Wonder why. I guess I'll just make that smaller. I guess. Let's just make it smaller.
Come back.
And
We
we'll
did
try this
look
again.
stretched out. That's scary.
I know, right? Don't you love that? Let's have a look. Let's see how that goes. And go full screen. And look, I'm okay with that. Apart from just moving it around a bit.
I can't agree because, like, can't see.
I guess even if
I'm a little bit cut off.
yeah, even if I do stretch it, then
It's because you're unimportant, Sheldon.
It's so true.
You know,
I
you've
just
been
do.
gone for a couple of sessions, and suddenly we don't care about you anymore.
Very
It's
true.
okay. That's fine.
It's terrible.
We're Rook's 5 now.
Oh my.
That's cool. As long
What the frick? Oh, you know why? Because I've got the overlay behind it. Okay, that's interesting. How am I going to move that? I guess. Sorry about this. So stretching it won't do anything. I think I just have to try and make it like. I don't know. If I do it on the top corner, what happens? Let's have a look in the Twitch. Okay. Yes.
Hey, there we go.
Yes. We can do this. Okay. So,
I don't know if I've ever seen Michele that excited. That was
Victory.
wrecked.
victory or death. So, we're here with. Let's take two. Welcome everybody. We're here with Thorum, Amara, and Rook, namely Sheldon, Emily, and Ben. And I am Venice Elder, and we're talking about some D&D stuff. Hopefully everybody hears the amazing tavern music in the background too. I love that. So I wanted to start with just.
So you're gonna say that you hoped everyone was familiar with D&D, and I was gonna be like,
Look,
hopefully
it
by
probably-
now
it's-
on our
it's-
stream.
It's a valid question. If no one is familiar with Dungeons and Dragons, here you're going to be clued up about it. It's going to be great. I should stop looking at the actual screen because it looks like I'm not looking at you guys. So, now is it really weird? I don't know. Is it weird?
No, I
you're
like the
making-
eyes.
You're making direct eye contact with me.
That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. So, we're gonna talk about some stuff. We're gonna talk about rules and monsters in the D&D 5th edition world. Now, I'm prepared. I've got Exploring Eberron. I've got Monster Manual here, and I want to start with Monster Manual. But first of all, I want to find out from you guys, namely, the people I'm talking to, which are going to talk back to me, Sheldon and Amara and Ben. So you're always going to be Amara. Okay, it's just
I didn't even get my real name.
No.
Nah, you're not allowed to.
No, definitely not.
It's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
This
welcome.
means that my character is more likable than I am.
It's true. It's true. You are. And I never knew you wore glasses. So that's new.
I found them for the first time today, like how long? Like a
Yesterday.
couple of months.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, you can see. So
I can see.
nice. I'm keeping an eye on the chat, and I'm well aware that we're a bit stretched out, but I'll give this a good go. So, do we want to just dive straight into rules and monsters and stuff, or do we want sort of a bit of an intro to see like who we are and what we do and stuff? What do you reckon?
I reckon, well, as in our characters, or
Yeah, let's give it a bit of an overview. Like in our Fates group world, who are you, and what do you guys, what classes and races, and maybe if you had to have dinner with one character in real life so far, who would it be?
out of our campaign.
I know my answer
Yeah,
straight
I'll-
away.
Let's-
dead or alive. Dead or alive.
Yeah. So who's going first?
Go for it.
I reckon I'm going to vote for Emily / Amara. Because she
Yeah.
knows.
Only because Michaela cut me off from talking last session, so maybe I can make up for it now. At the end of last session. No, yeah, okay. I play Amara, who is a Kalasha monk, Way of Shadow. That's really it. She talks too much on the stream, so I'm gonna not talk so much right now. I will say that the character that I would have dinner with, thanks to your cliffhanger last session, would 100% be Farizo. Because I gotta
Yeah.
find out if this guy's actually shady or if he's not. Right?
We might find out next episode.
Can't wait until Tuesday. I need to know now.
Thank you. How about you?
Go on, Rook. You
Go
take
on.
it up.
Yeah, so Monster Hunter Ranger. Who would I take to dinner? So many good characters. Round Tony.
Round Terry.
Terry. Can't even get his name right. Maybe that's why I need to talk to him. Actually, to be honest, I'd probably go with Bicelu.
Why?
It's very good.
I want to know more of what she knew, and we will never learn that because we killed her.
Cool. All right. How about you, Sheldon?
So light domain dragonborn cleric, and I'd probably take King Boronel. I'd take him out for dinner because you get like a much better understanding of the world and also why he's not doing a lot more about all the calamities. So what are you doing about this? There's a lot of things going wrong on a daily.
A lot of things that you don't know. Things
Mm.
happen
Why
behind
there
closed
two
doors.
Hundreds of people standing still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you leave the scene, people still move around. So it'd be what an interesting conversation that would be. I like it. Cool. Well, now that you've been introduced, I'm going to start with a bit of a monster that I think everyone might have a bit of a say on. Now, if you've got the monster manual there on you, it might help to understand a bit about like the monster stats and stuff. So if you've got it, bring it up. But if not, I can give you a bit of an outline as to what the monster is and who they are and what stats it's got. So I'm just going to open my little physical book to a page that that Rook is going to be not familiar with, but we've had a chat about it. Where are we? So, this creature can be found in the depths of swamps. They are malevolent, wispy balls of light that haunt lonely places and battlefields, bound by dark fate or dark magic to feed on fear and despair. We are talking about will-o-wisps. Now, will-o-wisps are on the Monster Manual, page 301. Now, let me give you a bit of insight. Sheldon, do you want me to read out some things about the monster that you might find a bit interesting?
Yeah, fire away.
Yeah,
It's a little
sweet.
bit fairy tale so far.
Okay, so
Will-o-wisp.
be aware this creature is a challenge rating 2. Okay, now challenge rating 2 creatures essentially mean that 5 level 2 characters would consider this a medium difficulty. Yeah? Now, its armor class is 19. Yeah? And then...
Well, it does have an armor class of 19.
Yeah. Now, just saying hi to Aeoncraft. I know Aeoncraft. We're doing an extra stream. It's kind of off the cuff. We're just talking about D&D stuff, monsters, rules, and stuff. So hang around if you'd like. I've got you in the chat, so you are most welcome. So we're talking about will-o-wisps. Now, armor class 19. It's got damage immunities of lightning and poison, and it's got resistances to pretty much everything else: cold, fire, acid, bludgeoning. Now, its hit points are only 22, but here's where it gets interesting. And this has been debated for ages, but let's go with its bonus thing, which is consume life. As a bonus action, the will-o-wisp can target one creature it can see within 5 feet of it that has 0 hit points and is still alive. The target must succeed on a DC 10 Constitution saving throw against the magic or die.
That's
What?
fast.
So what? So as in like start rolling death saves, or like
No
that
dead.
that was a great character you played.
That was
What's next?
That was a great character you played. This is
That character would need to be downed though, wouldn't it?
Now that is the thing. So we've got. So let's now. Yeah, it does need to be downed. Correct. So let's put this into perspective. We've got a. Let's look at its attack. Right now, on average, a level 2 character. Right. Let's talk about a barbarian. The most hit points a barbarian can have at full hit dice is going to be 24 plus its constitution modifiers. Now, if you're smart, you're going to put a lot of points in constitution. So let's say at the most maybe 20, 24, 26, right? That's the highest. Now, a wizard at the lowest, if you roll bad on a wizard, it's a D4. No, wait, it's the D6. So D6 plus con modifier, you might have less than 10 hit points. Yeah? This thing does 2d8 lightning damage per round. So maximum 16 points of damage. So what it needs to do is it needs to get you down to 0. So at one shocking grasp, you're already down. If it hits, yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty much guaranteed for a level 2. On its next turn, now, if the DM is playing this right, this creature is going to have it has an intelligence score of 13. That's an important feature to me, because it knows, it's aware, it's intelligent, so it's going to go for the thing that's down a lot of the time. But
Yeah.
tell me what you think of this, the stats so far.
So like with the
Yeah,
intelligence. No, go on.
No, you go first.
So like the way I always kind of understood intelligence was like a 10. The score of 10 is like your average human,
Mm-hmm.
like human in the village kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like 13's like smarter than average, right?
A lot.
So if there's like, if you're in a fight and you're fighting 4 people or like 5 people, and one of them is like throwing spells at you and there's arrows coming, and you take down the big barbarian that's right in front of you, do you then spend your next turn absorbing hits, or do you move on to another target? Just stay there and finish off the one you just downed. So maybe it's like, depends how you want to play them.
It's definitely depending on the DM, definitely. I guess that's one really difficult thing I find is that I have trouble thinking like the creature. I don't know whether you guys have all DM'd, so you tell me, like, as a DM, would you play this creature like if someone is down, you want to finish it off, or if someone is down, you think there's no longer any danger, so you move on?
Well,
I think it depends on the party, to be honest. Like, it depends on the motive that the creature has, right? I think that's always so important because, you know, you said it yourself, this is an intelligent creature, so it would have some form of motive or some kind of bookend to when do I stop this fight versus how far do I see this through. I think that's really important and dependent on the party. And is this a random encounter? Is this something that we've been building up to? You know, I think all of those factors come into play. However, I guess if it was like from let's just decide now on the spot, hell yeah, this thing's intelligent. Take down the thing that's already down and help sustain itself so it can take the next thing down. It's not going to risk its own life. It's going to try and consume the hit points of those around it.
Yeah. The other thing I think traditionally as well, whatever does that even mean in D&D, would be, I don't think I'd probably run this on its own either. It'd probably be a group of Will-O-the-Wisps. It'd be more than just maybe one light. And it is invisible as well, so it might not even engage if it thought it would be killed on its own.
Yeah, so it's going to look for an opportunity like every intelligent creature.
Yeah.
It's going to also absorb the hit points. I didn't see that. I forgot about that. But if it has lost hit points, conversely to what Sheldon was saying, it's gonna want to heal itself like you would, Sheldon. So
yeah, I do heal myself a lot.
So I guess that does depend on the hit points. Maybe a DM normally plays it like that. If it's at full hit points, it doesn't go back for the person that was down because it thinks maybe that it's winning. But why?
Also,
but that's
go on, Sheldon.
I'm a class 19. It's pretty huge.
Like Will-O-the-Wisp traditionally, like what do? They hang out in bogs and they like lure people in. Like it's up to you if you want to play it. Like, you know, like the ones in folklore. But it would be kind of cool to be like one that like downs you and then draws your companions away from you or draws them into traps or stuff like that.
Well, that's another point. Like they're intelligent enough to guide you into another danger. And so they can just finish you off. So these things, with armor class 19, like you said, Rook, I don't know. I think for a challenge rating 2 creature, it's been really well said that these things are super OP. Even one of them, I lost your video there for a second, Sheldon.
Have you? Yeah. Can you see me?
Not yet.
Hey, Saz is in the chat. Hi,
Hey.
Saz.
Hey, how you doing, Saz?
A little tidbit there. Consumed by despair, Will-O-the-Wisps, the souls of evil beings that perished in anguish or misery as they wandered forsaken lands, permeated with powerful magics. They thrive in swampy bogs and bone-strewn battlefields where their oppressive whites of sorrow stoop even heavier than the low hanging mist of fog. Trapped in these desolate places of lost hope and memory, Will-O-the-Wisp lure other creatures towards dismal fates and feed on their misery. So I in my imagination, I'm like envisioning, I don't know who's played Witcher, you know, that first area you go to where the ghouls are hanging out on the battlefield. Something similar like that. And these apparitions or the Will-O-the-Wisp are just hanging out together, you know, wandering the battlefield. And if you're maybe a lost straggler that's been, you know, routed from the battle and you're trying to get back to a group, you follow these creatures into a place that you didn't want to go, and then they pack attack you.
Well, yeah, you're right. Reading on from that, they form relationships. They don't have any senses, but they form relationships with other beings they ally themselves with
Mm.
Oni and hags and stuff. So it's definitely
Yeah, I'd say hag would be a compliment to.
like a huge
I
compliment.
don't usually take into account like alignment, and I know that's particularly probably a controversial thing to say, until it comes to monster manual stuff, and like literally straight under it, it says tiny undead, chaotic evil, and with an intelligence combined with that in alignment, for me, like they come off as malicious creatures, like vengeance, that sort of shit.
Yeah, if they're malicious, they would be more aggressive. That makes sense.
But I think also intelligent enough to understand, like you guys mentioned earlier, okay, this thing's down. I actually don't need to consume any of its hit points right now. But hey, if I need some extra hit points, let's make sure that this thing does stay down and I'll come back to it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys heard that on my on my stream. What the?
Just a gunfight going on in the background. No, nothing to worry about, guys.
Someone
Sounds like a car crash.
Someone's setting off fireworks.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah,
I
there's a lot of sirens going on.
I get fireworks all the time.
Ooh.
Where are we here? So, do you think
They all
as
live near each other.
do you think as DMs, do you think you'd pit this against a level 2 party?
Oh, that's difficult.
Depends on the party.
I think we were talking about this before. When's a good time to kill a character? Is it easier to do it at the beginning so you're not so attached and it's easier to write another character in, as opposed to when you're late in the game and you've already spent, number of hours in there? Sure, you always want to be known if you're going to be sitting on the edge of your seat, but
Why are you trying to kill characters, bro?
it's going to happen.
I think it should be at any point, as long as there's like a clear foreshadowed danger and it follows a bunch of failed rolls. Like if you just get burned by luck and you knew what was coming, like you knew you were going into the monster's lair or something like that. You know what I mean? It takes a sting off if you get killed in like the monster's lair after you roll a natural one versus like you drink too much in the tavern, you die.
It's kind of like, would you blindfold yourself and walk across a road? Well, no, you wouldn't. It's the same sort of thing. Don't do dumb stuff and you won't die.
But dumb stuff.
Is it possible to build from an RP point of view, the relationships around the other groups of players become strengthened when other players die off?
I mean, yeah, you could definitely build the companionship getting closer with the death of another. Definitely, that'll always happen. I think. That's up to the dungeon master to help guide that. But to your point as well, Sheldon, if the story specifically states that this is dangerous, you might die, but have a vast reward for it. It's enough for the players to decide whether they do want to do that or not. I think it is up to the players to go into that danger knowingly. If the DM suddenly springs one of these things on them, it can be a little bit unfair. You are correct. It can
Like a group of intellect hours?
What's that?
Intellect.
Yeah.
Like a group of intellect hours?
Exactly. No, they were fine. They had minimal hit points. You were fine. I had no inkling that you were in danger at all. Maybe.
Can go so wrong. Can go so wrong. There are similar, I think, species to this kind of stat sheet here, where it's like on paper they're not actually quite threatening, but if you let one,
what do you mean they're not quite threatening? They consume your life.
Well, to be honest, this is probably worse than intellect devour.
I'm going to bring that up now. I'm just going to quickly go. Yeah, here we go. So challenge rating 2 again. So here's intellect devourer. Armor class only 12, which is why at your level I didn't really think too much of it. Hit points 21, so not too bad. Like 2 of your hits destroyed one of them, so no issue there. The damage resistances are from non-magical weapons, so you all had magical weapons at that point. But what you're getting at, Rook, is this body thief. thing. So the intellect devourer initiates an intelligence contest with an incapacitated humanoid. So first of all, they need to be incapacitated, which is what this devour intellect is. A little thing beforehand. So if they're incapacitated, if it wins the contest, the intellect devourer magically consumes the target's brain, teleports into the skull, and takes control of the body. Now, at that point, the creature is dead unless they get revived with like a protection from evil and good. No, not even that, because realistically, he's consumed your brain, right? So only like a resurrect spell, or only like a resurrect spell would be able to bring it back. So again, it's such a small challenge rating, and I think these are. It's weird to compare them with the Will-O-Wisp because they're quite different in that I think they're squishier. They're much harder. Sorry, they're much easier to kill. But I think
class 12 is not that hard.
Exactly, but then it's the actual ability now that's more powerful because you have to save on an intellect check. I think it's just an intellect check. You have to just roll a dice and add your intellect modifier, and its intellect is +1. So again, level 2. What do you guys think? Does it sound harder to beat or easier?
After reading it and not seeing it for a while, I think the Will-O-Wisp is actually probably going to be a bit more, probably sizably more difficult because of its more abilities.
I think, like, when you look at resistances and immunities, what worries me more about the Will-O-Wisp is the fact that it literally has resistance or immunity to almost every damage type. Like, your resistances, like, you're doing half damage from the start.
Yeah. I mean, the Will-O-Wisp has that 19 AC, and that, like, a party of level 2 players, they like are not going to. They're going to often be rolling attack rolls less than 19, whereas like 12 is a lot more friendly. I don't know.
Can we also point out the fact that like a Dex mod for a Will-O-Wisp is a +9?
Yeah, 28 dexterity was.
So any Dex like save related. Anything that it has to make a Dex save for, it's probably going to succeed, especially against a level 2 character.
Yeah.
You'd be looking at doing more strength-based attacks based on its modifier there. But even then, like, its resistances are to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical. So at level 2, are you going to be attacking magically with those 3 damage types? Probably not.
What we'll do, I have a one shot coming up. I reckon you guys are level 10. I reckon you'd actually
just put 10 of them on the field.
Yeah, I reckon you'd struggle if you had something like some other combatants outside of this coupled with that. I think these would actually give you a pretty hard time, or at least a very big scare.
What do you reckon, Sheldon? Do you think the Will-O-Wisp or the?
I think I absolutely think the Will-O-Wisp is the big threat.
Mm-hmm.
They're just too hard to hit. 19's just a big AC.
Yeah.
I want to ask a question about the intellect devourers, just because I'm not actually super familiar with them. With that, like, consuming a creature's brain, is it obvious to the players around you that that's happening, or is that something that just happens?
It'd be an insight check. It suddenly disappears. The player in question might seem a little bit off. So, and I think you'd physically see things like a little bit of blood coming out of their ear if the DM played it right.
Yeah, I'd like to think there's blood coming out of their ears and eyes and
but mid-battle though, right?
Yeah,
mid-battle, like, so that's where I feel like that becomes dangerous, because like suddenly you've got a player that has had its body overtaken by an intellect devourer. Does it automatically take on the player abilities?
Well, let's have a bit of a read again. Going back to here. Where is it?
Thematically, I don't think I'd like my brain to be eaten while I'm alive.
No, definitely not. Here we go. So,
mind you, consume life means you can still be resurrected, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. The intellect devourer retains its intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores as well as its understanding of deep speech. It knows everything the creature knew, including spells and languages. If the host body dies, the intellect devourer must leave it. The intellect devourer is also forced out if the target regains its devoured brain by means of a wish. So the fact that yeah,
So, how is level 2 group going to cast a wish?
We'll keep that body preserved, man.
Yeah.
Keep it on ice.
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, so for that for me becomes dangerous because you imagine Thulrum's body being overtaken by an intellect devourer and like turning against us all. We would A, have to perceive that. B, I mean, he's already breathed fire at me, but like imagine that plus inflict wounds, all of that sort of stuff just coming at you out of nowhere. Like you get pretty wrecked pretty quick. Even at level 2, like inflict wounds is hectic in damage.
So, yeah,
From memory as well, I think Intellect Devourer like banging around with Mind Flayers.
They do like to be
Yeah.
servants of them. Yep. So the Mind Flayer does a similar thing, just more powerful version of it. So that's just another thing to think
Yeah,
about.
you'd know about that.
Oh yeah.
Mind Flayers. Yeah,
So yeah,
I've experienced one.
you have. I just wanted to touch on those two. Well, that creature, but that was a good segue into the intellect devourer. I just thought that was a really interesting topic. I think, yeah, to your point, Emily, I just wouldn't know which would be more dangerous because Will-O-Wisp then dies and it's then fine. But then you look at another challenge rating 2 creature. Let's just go to a random challenge rating 2 creature. 2 seconds while I just find one. And let's
Gonna be
compare.
like a wolf.
Okay, so Edicap. An Edicap
Pack
is,
of goblins.
they could be like a challenge rating a quarter each, but an Edicap is armor class 13, more hit points, so 44 hit points. It's pretty stealthy and it can climb, and it can make 2 attacks with a bite and a claw, but it's all melee. Any melee creature is gonna, to me, I think it's gonna be just easier to kill all up. Even though it has more hit points, it has double the hit points of those other challenge rating 2 creatures. But one of them, I would imagine, just doesn't have that actual, I don't know, power. What do you think?
Just gonna write down the fact that you mentioned that melee creatures are easier to kill because I'm a melee creature. So if you could avoid doing that, that'd be great.
Oh,
I never ever use my mace in combat. I just never use my mace in combat.
You should try,
I'll tell
see
you
what
what.
happens.
Until you know I have no spell
Handicap.
slots.
You have all the spell slots, Thorum. It's ridiculous.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Well rested, you really do
Ooh.
be a bit ridiculous.
Mm.
Yeah, so look, it'd be interesting to know, are there any other creatures that you guys, while we've got the creatures in mind, that you wanted to bring up, and if there's anything interesting you found in any of them?
That going back to what you were talking about before, the Edicap just doesn't seem that. Outside of it having beefier hit points,
Yeah.
its AC's average at best, and its abilities aren't.
Sounds cool.
Yeah. Again, a lot of these monsters, because I see the Edicap being run. I keep saying run with other things. Probably shouldn't be talking about other things. But like in a combination with like Spider that can shoot webs and things like that, that could be a bit dangerous. But on its own, against a party of, even just 3 adventurers, it's probably not going to be that big of a threat.
No.
Just trying to think of creatures. Ooh, how did we get there?
Any creatures,
I don't know how to do it. Okay.
yeah, that we ourselves are like, oh, I hate
Wanna
those
talk
things,
about?
or love them.
Yeah, like any particular aspect of a creature you saw and you thought, I know it's a bit on like a little bit sudden to ask, but if you guys
Yeah,
don't,
what about gelatinous cubes, Michele?
oh, Oh, I don't want to talk about gelatinous cubes. I don't. Okay, let's talk about this. Okay, let's talk about it. Hold on.
Why don't you want to talk about them? What's wrong with the gelatinous cube?
I love them. I love them. What why do you bring that
I can
up?
tell. Because I just scrolled past it and I was like, gelatinous cube.
Have you guys
Isn't it like the iconic LOL monster that can kill everybody?
Okay, let's discuss this. Hold on, let's just bring that up.
84 hit points. That's rare.
Yeah.
The hit points are ridiculous.
Large ooze, unaligned.
What's it under?
Dude,
I don't
that's-
remember.
That is 84 hit points.
What's it under?
What challenge? That's a challenge rating too. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is it? What page?
That ooze kills its prey slowly.
Oh, ooze. Under ooh.
Yeah.
Here we go.
An ooze doesn't require sleep. That's good to know.
So this challenge rating 2-1. Look at its speed.
You can enter
Is
it.
it?
You can just walk into the
Maybe.
cube.
What's that?
So you can just walk into the cube.
Yeah.
The cube takes up its entire space. Other creatures can enter the space, but a creature that does so is subjected to the cube's engulf and has disadvantage on the saving throw.
Yeah. Now, if you get sucked in by this creature, you can take acid damage. You take 3d6 acid damage, right? And then the engulfed creature can't breathe, is restrained, and takes 6d6 at the start of the cube's turn. So, 66.
A lot.
And let's think about a bloody challenge rating 2 party. It's armor
They're
class. It's armor class 6, hit points 84. So you can't miss it. But it's not meant, in my opinion, it's not meant to be something that you'd go around a corner in a dungeon and you see it in the distance coming towards you. That's not how gelatinous cubes work. How they work is you look up while you step on a button on the ground and this compartment opens up and this thing just gets dropped on you. Right?
It says here, even when the
Yeah.
cube is in plain sight, it takes a successful DC 15 wisdom check to spot the cube that has neither moved nor attacked. A creature that tries to enter, yeah. So, like, you still have to perceive this thing because it's transparent. We just walk into it and you'd have no idea.
You should just in the next episode, just if someone rides a hole or like a really good wisdom check, so be like, yeah, there's gelatinous cubes everywhere.
You're
In
gonna
random
feel the
places,
gelatinous
yeah.
cubes.
There's always a gelatinous cube somewhere.
Can you imagine like a
But
small...
it's actually a mimic.
But yeah, go on, Thorum.
I'm imagining it more like you walk up and there's like a pool of this goop between you and what you want to get to. And you're like, oh, do I cross the goop? And only once you mess with it does it either hurt you or come out of it very slowly, come out of the pool towards you.
That's true.
Gelatinous wave with like 4 or 5 of them.
That's true. I can
Yuck.
see that happening. Like you have no choice but to go through this particular path, and
Yeah.
and that's
Well,
when you
they-
see it.
With that movement speed at 15, you can run away. You can really easily run away.
Yeah. If you're caught,
Yeah.
if you're caught,
Oh no, there's an ooze coming.
Yeah.
if you walk, say you walk into it, right?
I always,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on.
in my imagination, I always like the old adventurer, or just the cave spider has unfortunately been stuck in it, and it's now being like animated by this cube. And when you're attacking it, you're always thinking you're attacking this like undead thing, but it's actually the cube that's just rolling through, trying to gobble you up and digest you.
I like that. It's I
Or
think.
defecate you? Is that what it is?
What'd you say?
What?
Is it defecate? Is that like what
No.
spiders do to their prey? Suck them from the inside out?
I think that's what
He
that
has
means.
no idea what he-
That's not what it means.
Is that-
No.
I think
Defecate.
defecate means poop. Yeah.
That's that.
We'll say that.
I'm glad we can clip that. I'm super glad we can clip that. You just entertain. You're just an entertainer. That's all. Crazy.
What is that called though? Let me Google that.
Yeah, I think you
That's
need
fine,
to.
I think.
Yeah, I think you need to just look that up. I'm not sure. I can't. Yeah, I know there's a name for it. But if your party walks towards this thing, doesn't see it, and one of you walks into it, you have to make a saving throw of 12 or automatically take 3d6 acid damage. That's a party member downed right then. So it's a dilemma
Yeah.
because it's a scenario-based thing. Your other party members are probably not going to run away. They could probably want to grab this creature that is downed. By the way, it needs a strength saving throw or strength check to be pulled, and then the cube is on you. So
Can you not then be pulled into it as well?
yeah, exactly. What was that, Sheldon?
If you meet a 12 save though, do you take half damage or no damage?
Okay, good point. I think it's no, it's no damage.
So with a bless and a bardic inspiration as well,
That's it. But is
it's
bless?
pretty much impossible.
Yeah, it's bless and bardic inspiration available at level 2, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So
So yeah, with that you'd have to roll a minimum of 4
that's fair.
to,
That's fair.
to not die. So you should
Very
dive
difficult.
into it.
So basically,
Dive into it and breathe fire.
Yeah, what you're telling me though is you have to be ready, and you have to pre-plan that. Like you go into a dungeon, and you have to already cast it. How long does it last? Bless and bardic.
Bless
doesn't
lasts
matter.
10 minutes. Bardic lasts forever, bless lasts 10 minutes. So
Okay, so it's just a matter of you, like, if you really want to be prepped and you think a DM is a bit of a tool, then you have to just
Well-
prep it and do it at a
Wait,
Are
time.
you
how
writing
long
this
does-
down, Kel?
no, I'm just trying to see how long does bless actually last. It lasts for 1 minute. It lasts for 1 minute.
1 minute.
There's only 1 minute.
Okay, so yeah, so it's like 10 rounds of combat.
That's an interesting point. So if you're not in
So-
combat and you run into it, then there's where the problem lies.
Yeah. It'd be very cool to like use explosive cells from inside the gelatinous cube though.
A fireball.
Hmm.
Definitely. Cool. I like gelatinous cubes. I think there's a lot of potential because the biggest challenge rating in the monster manual for a gelatinous cube is 4. But I reckon there's so much potential for like a much more powerful version of it.
Yeah, just make it bigger.
Mm.
It's not just bigger, but some of these. I think if the dexterity of this thing was higher, if someone made a gelatinous cube and its dex was higher, I think there's potential for it to sort of lash out and do acid damage from an arm that stretches from its big cube.
It's like a walking ice.
Yeah, it's like a big ranged attack. It has like 100-foot range or something. It'd be interesting.
I'd like to see some like Mad Mage create a gelatinous cube to fight a Tarrasque.
What was that, Sheldon?
I was just wondering, like when you imagine moving, do they like slide on the ground or they kind of jump
Oh,
with slimes?
I'm at
across?
look,
Something like a snail,
jumping sounds so
Yeah.
much cooler though.
leaving wetness behind.
Ugh. Little trail.
The Tarrasque is something that's been talked about a lot. If you don't have it, if you do turn to that page, let's have a quick squiz. Just as a bit of a funsy last
Just a huge hit point.
This thing is ridiculous.
let's have a look at this.
I don't think it's actually all bad.
Legend. Okay.
I don't think there's that much to read about. It's just,
There's so much to read about.
nice.
Swallow.
The very first word describing its abilities is legendary. Legendary resistance. If the Tarrasque fails the saving throw, it can just choose to succeed instead. That is pretty legendary, yeah. Do that 3 times a day.
It's pretty.
This thing's Godzilla.
It's
It's
definitely
ugly as hell.
It's definitely it's unaligned. It's a look at its intelligence. Like it's less intelligent than a dog.
It's resistant against
Yeah, so
spells
it is
and magical
Godzilla. It's
effects.
literally Godzilla.
It's just resistance against all magic.
Where is that? Is that the reflective carapace?
Magic resistance.
It has advantage on saving throws
Let's hit it
against
again.
spells.
Pit this against some level 2 characters.
No,
Yeah.
What is-
someone has done that. Someone has calculated that a party of 5
What jerk?
level 2 characters can actually beat this.
Nah.
Is it- it can be
176
kite-
hit points at 25 armor class.
Yes, look it up.
Bro, hold
Look-
on. Let's just say, hold on. Multi-attack. It makes 5 attacks. 1 with its bite, 2 with its claws, 1 with its horns, and 1 with its tail.
Mhm.
What? You could kill all 5
We
party
should-
members in one go.
We,
I didn't get that.
you know,
Sorry.
should-
should,
and
we
you-
should in a future.
It's a plus
We
19
should
to
just run
hit.
some of these simulations with our characters.
I think it's a good idea.
I'd be up for that. I like this.
Plus 19.
Plus 19. Shit.
It's
Also, like the frightened feature.
yeah,
DC 17 wisdom saving throw.
it's pretty
I'd
hard.
struggle to do that now. I don't have advantage on wisdom saving throws.
Yeah. Swallow. 5.
Sheldon's
Sheldon
like
throws it
just frozen in
Yeah,
in awe.
in disbelief. Yeah. It's, I don't know. I don't know why you'd wipe out part of that. You'd have to work it into the plot.
It'd be
So-
fun.
So what
That's
level?
what
Our
it is.
friend, he like
You all have looked through your classes and I'm assuming like what you're gonna get level 11, level 12, level 13, like what your future powers are gonna be. Maybe if not, that's okay.
Mm.
But what level do you reckon is the minimum that you would need to be to best one of these things? Minimum.
you said
Our
a level
party
2
could
party
win.
could take.
A level 2 party can with the right rolls, but to do it comfortably.
I don't
I
think
don't think we could do that right now comfortably. I don't think we could do that right now. Depends on the environment too. Like, do we have a lot of space to like move and navigate
Open
and
space.
stuff like that?
Jump
Right?
everything.
That's a really good
Mm.
point. Open space in this scenario. But then remember,
'Cause, like-
it has then enough space to move that 40 feet.
That's true, but you could do things to slow it. You could,
That would be high.
hmm
and then you could just basically just kite it around, to use a WoW term.
But yeah, but that's what the level 2s aim for.
Yeah, from memory, I read about that.
They kite it like it's.
Imagine
Yeah.
imagine fighting this thing for like 10 rounds and like not doing much, but not being dead. And then
Yeah.
like you finally do something and it has to make a saving throw and it fails the saving throw and you're like, yes! And then Michaela turns around and goes, actually, it succeeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Change my mind.
Now, is
Nah.
there anywhere here that says anything about the? Now I call it a Tarrasque. I've always known it to be a Tarrasque. I know it's probably wrong because Matt Mercer has said it's
That's-
Tarrasque, but that's okay.
No, just Matt Mercer.
I'd prefer Tarrasque. Chad, if you.
I'm just gonna grab my MacBook charger because it's gonna go to sleep.
Go with this in 2nd edition and 3rd edition. The Tarrasque has had a regeneration ability where it regains, I think it was about 20 hit points per round, on top of everything you see here as well. I don't think I can see it in here.
No, I haven't.
That's a lot.
It is, right? Especially when it's got that reflective carapace as well as being immune to like non-magical stuff. Chad,
That magic resistance is is a big deal though as well, because there's so many things you could do to slow it down that magically that it would just have such a massive advantage for. I could use command to slow it. I could use so many different things.
Yeah.
But all of them, you
Charm-
can either just choose not to.
Yeah. And
So
Could
really,
stun
you
it,
want to keep
though.
it stunned. Yeah, if
it's
possible.
a stunning thing.
Guess
isn't
you can
it?
do that.
But then
Me.
remember, isn't stunning a Constitution saving throw?
Yeah, that's true.
So con
Or like
saving
maybe
throw-
just slowing it down or something, or any AOE, like growth or something like that.
Yeah,
Stuff that it can't dodge. That's a good idea.
that's it. So-
Actually, is there any ability to create obstacles
well,
that
you-
they can't
Mm.
pass through? You just
Maybe
lock it
like
in.
water wall, wind tunnel, those sorts of spells. But that's a good question. If I hit it with wind tunnel, which is a strength save,
Yeah, but it's strength, bro. Its strength is 30.
yeah, I know. But does it take advantage at resisting that because it's a spell that I'm hitting it with and it has to save with strength, or does it
Tell
just
me,
use its natural strength?
where's wind? What is it? Wind wall?
Let me bring it up. Sorry, the noise of keys.
Wind
Oh,
wall. There we
gust.
go.
Gust or wind wall.
A wall of strong wind rises from the ground at a point you choose. You can make the wall up to that. When the wall appears, each creature within its area must make a strength saving throw. A creature takes 3d8 bludgeoning on a failed save, or half. So what that looks to me like is, so this is a reflective carapace. Basically, the first thing it does is make it this saving throw with advantage, because that's just the rule, right? Let's say it fails that. But this reflective carapace, anytime the Katara Secure is targeted by a magic missile spell, a line spell, or a spell that requires a ranged attack roll. This doesn't require any of that. I don't think it's a ranged attack spell. I think it's just something that appears in front of it or on it. So I reckon if it has no legendary saving throws left, and if it fails its magical resistance, like having advantage, then I think it would take 3d8 bludgeoning damage. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I
There you go. So that's
All we
one.
need to do is get that other 650
So just
after it's regained all of its legendary actions on
Yeah.
the next turn.
Yeah.
So okay, let's
Oh,
use that.
I also need to grab my charger.
Yeah, you're fine, you're fine. So let's just use that as an example. That's a third level spell, so you have to be at least level 5 to cast that, right? So it's still not to me sounding like level 5 is comfortable. Because remember
No.
your
Yeah.
spell slots as well. You've got lots of spell slots that you have to do. Anyway, I just thought that was an interesting creature to look at. But have a think about it, because
I think this particular creature would be reliant on some kind of RP element to defeat it, unless like maybe you're a group of like a good well-equipped group of 15 and above.
Okay, so you reckon 15.
Yeah, I reckon you need some kind of like there's some siege thing happening, and you've got the support of a city
Note to self.
to try and defeat this thing.
So you reckon an army you need help
Yeah,
at level 15? You'd
or
still-
pushing it up a cliff or something like that with some kind of
Mhm.
like RP element.
Pardon me. Or having a big wall to stand on.
Yeah, because even archdemons and things, I don't think have as much HP as this. I think Baphomet isn't even as strong as this guy, and he's like
correct.
a demon.
The difference is, once again, you've got the Tarasaki, which is pure melee. Bahamut is just a creature with different stats. Let me just bring him up. Bahamut and the
Love Bahamut.
Arc Devils, which I think are in the... where is it? Let's bring up one as an example. Tome of Foes, right? Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. Come on, give me a okay, it's just loading. But after this creature, I might move on to a particular spell that I'm that I want to discuss. Unless, no, I want to give you guys a chance first. Do you guys want to chat about anything in particular while the topic is, rolling?
Wouldn't mind asking a question of everyone here that has to do with monsters, including yourself, obviously. What's like the hardest creature that you guys have all come up against whilst playing? Or one that you were most scared of?
Yeah, good
D&D
question.
in general?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be Fate's Grip.
Probably a vampire variant. I actually have it. Yeah, vampires are always a lot stronger than like you think they are. I'm just bringing them up.
I'm having a look at Bahamut while we're... Sorry, Baphomet? Is it Baphomet? I think it's called... I don't know.
Baphomet, I think it is, yeah.
When you're
Which
ready.
vampire, Sheldon?
Yeah.
Well, my first ever character, which was also a cleric, got killed by just a regular vampire at level 6. Got killed at level 6.
Now, wait a second.
Yeah.
Now, wait a second. How
Yeah.
are you level 6 and versing a vampire? That's my first question.
Oh, poor decision making.
The DM.
Poor decision making. Yeah.
Have you seen a vampire? His stats?
Yeah, I'm looking at
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now.
The,
I'm like, what?
languages. Languages eat new in life.
hmm
everything.
So why would... I'm sorry, but I'm sorry for the DM. Innocent mistake, but why would a DM put you in a
Name
situation...
and shit, no.
put you in a situation
Nah,
where
I'm
you're
not-
versing a
I'm
level...
not gonna name its name.
No, that's fine.
There was like a citadel tower at the center of this, very ominous looking. And then basically it was like we were sneaking into this castle, and in the center of this castle was this ominous citadel looking tower. And through like a series of not attacking when we should have used stealth and very poor rolls, we found ourselves like running towards it. And yeah, I don't know, there was a vampire in there. But yeah, that's just how it goes, I guess. You never know. That's just the game. I just kind of copped it, like I try to be a good sport about it.
Oh look, you did well with being a good sport. I think certainly the roles and stuff, if the intent was to try and steer you away, and look, the DM in question might have just had like a particular line that he wanted to go, and no matter what the decision, that vampire was always going to be there regardless. Look, that's fair enough. I can't fault him for the bad roles that people might have had, so it just it can just come down to bad luck, I guess. But he would have made short work of you.
Yeah, he did. It was very, very short work. And yeah, looking at it, I can see why.
Have you read through some of these abilities?
Not until now.
My favorite is the two things. The vampire weaknesses is amazing. I love that. But also, what is it?
Garlic and...
Well, it's rocking the legendary resistance as well.
Yeah.
So just same thing, 3 per day. If it fails the saving throw, it just doesn't. I don't want to
Just
metagame.
like 3 bidet.
3 per day, yeah.
Bidet.
Bidet.
No, I
bidet.
said bidet.
Bidet to you, so.
Oh. No, I said per day. 3 per day. Makes me like really
Talking about poop. Talking about bidets.
talking about poo. Welcome. Follow for more of this content.
It's
Yeah.
pretty shitty.
Hey,
Yeah.
Terrible.
What about you, Michele? I want to know.
What's the hardest thing I've versed?
Yeah, think back to when you were allowed to play.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I versed a Tarrasque. I versed one. Yeah.
Brr.
Did you beat it?
No, I didn't. I I think
That was the last time you played.
yeah. I think I was.
And you're like, nah, I'm DMing.
I'm fairly sure it was like second edition where this Tarasuke was able to regenerate health, and I think we were playing like a one shot. I think it was a one shot, and we were all like level 18 or something. So it wasn't like we were level 3, but even then, I think you've heard this story before. I think this was the scenario where I turned into a Titan. Now, the equivalent of a Titan, because I don't think a Titan as a creature is in the monster manual. I think it might be under another class, but the equivalent in the monster manual is Empyrean. Look up Empyrean. EMP. Where is it? EMP. It's after dragon.
Are they the aim?
Huh?
Are they the angel things?
Celestial.
EMPYREAN. Yeah. Level challenge rating
Oh, yeah.
23. So I was able
Far
to...
out. Look at us modify.
It's not bad, is it? It's I turned into one of them.
Actually, it's unaligned.
Yeah, there we go. So it has a chance of being like one or the other,
It's
which
fine.
is interesting. But I turned into one of those, and I think I got my ass kicked. So I think I was what was I? I'm pretty sure I had the wish spell, and I was in grade 11, and I used it to turn into this to defeat it. I didn't just wish for this creature not to exist anymore, so I was dumb. So that was
Look,
fun.
worse has happened.
Yeah.
What about you?
The hardest monster I ever came across?
Or the scariest?
Oh,
Doesn't have to be like the highest challenge rating.
no. I didn't think of that. It depends on the form. Slot. Here, Slord?
Nickelodeon slime.
Is it the Slod? Slod?
Oh, the
Slord?
Slardy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Slardy.
Hey.
Don't you like the Slardy?
Now you have the different color variations. Hey?
Don't you like the Slardy? What's wrong with the Slardy?
Oh, I love them, but they're gross. They're awful. They're like the aliens out of the movie.
One of the
Well,
the
they're one of their
worst-
abilities.
Do you mean Aliens? Is that the movie? Aliens?
Aliens, yeah, alien.
Yeah.
I can't remember
The test
yeah.
person.
There is a particular thing that they have that I think most of them have. Maybe it's just it's plane shift. They've got plane shift, which is pretty amazing because they can take someone with them. Yeah, that would be hard. So you versed one of these and didn't make it?
Yeah, there was a group of them. I feel like Red Slide or something, and I'm trying to find them now. This is a while ago,
Page 276.
and we were trying to figure out a way to. That's exactly what happened. So they showed up. One of them attacked a friend, got a slod tadpole inside of him that we didn't know about until like 5 episodes in, and it come bursting out of his chest. And then the second one in that original combat where that had happened, he got the tadpole inside of him. One of the other guys had gotten teleported into another plane. And as we were trying to figure out a way to get to that plane to go get him, we got close to getting this. I think it was who are the mind flayers? The slaves of the mind flayers. The Grell, not Grell. You can play them as a race now.
Yeah, the what are they, chat? I know
Green
what you
guys.
mean. I know what you mean. Githyanki, the Gith.
Githyanki, yeah, we were trying to get a Githyanki to help us, and then a slot tadpole jumped out and attacked him.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
Gross.
Yuck.
That's the memory.
That's amazing. I love it. It looks like
Those are three very different answers.
they are. I love it. I
Yeah.
love that.
So I think
right.
the Githyanki have a way to get to this. I don't know. There's some backstory. Were they from that same plane or something?
The astral plane.
That might have been something he made.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What about you, Emily?
Oh. I want to say like something from Fate's Grip, but at the same time, I'm gonna stray away from Fate's Grip for a moment. There's two like encounters that come to mind. And they're like actually eerily similar. One of them was against a succubus, which isn't like super high in terms of abilities. Like still fun, still scary, right? But not like that scary. But it was more that like we rocked up to this house in the middle of like the snow. And there was this weird graveyard outside, and like all of the graves were like kids' graves. We went into this house and like we inside checked the hell out of this house, right? Like the people in this house. It was like two old people and their daughter. And it was just off. The whole thing was just a strange encounter. And it turned out the daughter like turned into the succubus. And it was just turned out that she was like the succubus queen. And it just turned into like this really weird encounter where everyone was getting charmed left, right, and center, and we're all fighting each other. So that was one. But on a similar vein, in the other Eberron-based campaign I've played in, when I was playing a changeling gunslinger, we came across this village, and again, similar thing, like everyone in the village was just real weird. And it turned out the village had all been like slowly murdered one person by one person and overtaken by changelings who were like all my characters' scary family members and like part of this clan. And then they slowly started like overtaking Shan. So like every time we would speak to an NPC, would be like, are they a changeling? Are they gonna try and kill us? Like what's gonna happen? So those are probably not for their like challenge rating or their abilities, but for the fact that like we just had no idea what we were fighting like the whole time.
Definitely an unknown.
That would probably be the ones that came to mind.
Yeah, wow.
I died in the end. That's fine.
Intense. Jeez. Look, I think charming and any sort of overtaking of the mind to me is just
Scary.
It's just even for a DM. I think it's just. I always will wonder how the crap are you guys going to handle this? Like.
Yeah, I think. Sorry.
Go.
When this happened, Preston, who plays in Fate's Grip, was playing a Goliath barbarian, and I'm playing a changeling, and one of our other friends, Kahu, is playing like a water genasi monk. So like, yeah, I don't know. We're a lot squishier than a Goliath barbarian, and his character got charmed and was just annihilating us. Like, I think Kahu's character ended up dying like 2 rounds into this battle. It was ridiculous.
Like permadying?
Yeah, permadying. He's like, yeah, it was pretty wrecked, I'm not gonna lie. But that's probably what I'd say.
That's pretty crap.
I always wonder how to RP a charmed character who kills another character.
Look.
And then you win the fight.
Yeah.
And then it's like, my friend.
No, you're
What
so
do you do with that?
undefeated.
Oh, when you beat the like the saving throw.
No. So say you go into a combat, you
That's
get
so
charmed,
dark.
you kill one of the party members,
Oh.
and then you end up killing the enemy. Games, RP comes back into it, and it's like, guys didn't mean to kill him.
Yeah. It'd be.
I was charmed.
That's up to you guys. Like that's your time to shine with your with your conversation.
Am I guilty about this?
Well, that's it, hey? Like, I think you would know. When you're charmed, you're still aware. You still have your faculties. It's not like you forget. It's not like your memory is erased. So, I think as a DM, it'd be interesting to see that interaction afterward. Yeah.
Let's get it going.
Well,
Hey!
look who we've got.
Hello, Chris.
Hello.
His camera's coming on. I think. If not, that's okay. But
No, I'm good at ventriloquism and I don't need to move my mouth.
oh wow, that's super.
Cool.
What?
Can you make your microphone a little bit louder for us?
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah. Sure can.
And duck away from one.
That
Can you
was-
pick a more realistic photo? Instead of one where you look so handsome.
What's unrealistic about it?
Just it's just a really nice photo. That's all.
um,
You're just saying, just
Well,
play
why-
along, guy. Just play along.
everyone.
This
This
is
is
job.
This is hey.
Hey.
This is obviously Barclays the Viper, aka Chris. But we were just discussing. Welcome to the chat. We were just discussing your hardest fight as your character. What your hardest fight as any character in any campaign has been. So far, we've talked about some stats about some monsters and some rules regarding the monsters, and that's been pretty cool. And then people's toughest fights. So have a think. But
I already know.
oh, go.
Yeah, hands down. This fight wasn't just challenging for me. It was challenging for everyone, including yourself, the DM. I think, anyway.
It's a Fate script fight.
No, it's okay. So, can I talk about my character
Mm.
being a bard?
Mm.
Specializes in debuffs.
Mhm.
Right. So, for the viewers out there that know what Bane does, it debuffs not one bad guy, but multiple, and as the spell gets more powerful, even more. So, going through the rounds, you need to take account of who got baned, roll for it, remembering to roll for it, and it feels like that spell needs to somehow summon some type of secretarial ability to maintain the amount of baning that's going on. So yeah, I would probably put that down as the one.
Just purely because, not because of the creature, but because of the remembrance of what you've been doing.
The administration, it's huge.
What an interesting thing to look at. I like it.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you. We might move to a new topic, if that's cool with everybody. But a topic that you guys want to bring up. It could be a rule, it could be a spell, it could be another monster, it could be a character question or a class question. Is it just before? Again, I want to give you guys the opportunity to talk as well. I don't want to do all the talking, but is there anything that you've thought of that you thought, I wish, I wish I knew more about that, or I wish we could talk about this a bit more? Anything particular?
Oh,
If not, I've
open
got,
floor.
I've got topics. If not, it's all good.
Anything in particular?
Keep thinking about.
I wish I'd come something prepared because I do. I definitely have questions writing another one shot, but
Maybe that can be a conversation you and I can have together, Rook. If they pertain to things that you want to clarify that can't involve the rest of them.
How do you remember this? This might be just a practice thing because you have accents, right? That you probably play around with, and very good accents. How do you find the mental dexterity to remember when to jump into those, particularly when you have different characters with different accents in the same room? That was something I struggled with when the one shot that I did with both you and Chris and Emily. I think I did a crossover sometimes for some of the other characters.
Yeah. Well, again, Chris, have you ever DM'd? Have you ever DM'd, Chris?
Only in my dreams.
Oh, okay. Because the floor is open.
You want to then?
It sounds like it.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'd like to do it. I think for me, this is a good question because I think you've got to maintain your story narrative whilst doing the voices, whilst engaging with the players, and not losing where you were up to.
Yeah.
Sheldon, did you ever do any sort of
Nah,
no?
I don't do voices. That's how I do it.
What can I ask why not? Is it the RPing side of it? Is it the is it just the effort or what?
Well, I don't know. So I guess when you read a book in your head, do you do like the voices in your head?
I don't.
Yes.
I don't. Interestingly enough.
No, I don't. I don't do that. My inner monologue doesn't. So I kind of like try and DM like the narrator of a book kind of does.
I like that. I like that. If you're particularly interested in doing voices and maintaining them, first of all, you have to. I don't know. For me, I felt like I have to do voices that I've heard a lot of, and so I can't. Like, first of all, you have to practice it. Yeah, definitely. It's about practicing, but it's not just about that. I hate doing certain accents, so I just don't do them. I need to enjoy the accents I'm doing. And my God, I just love putting on a voice. It's a joy for me because I like to.
So wait, hold on. Where did you get Prickly Pete's voice from then?
Where did I get?
Isn't that just intuitive? Isn't that how you'd imagine a cactus to sound, everyone?
To be honest with you, like
No.
I didn't, and I didn't really have any inspiration. You know, probably one of the first spoilers in Fate's Grip, but I had no bloody idea what the hell you were doing, Chris. But but I had to do it. I had to do something, and that's the first thing that I thought of. And I don't know. Even then, even if I just
It's
make
fitting.
I made it up on the spot, but I loved it. As soon as I heard myself talk, maybe it was just seeing your reactions. Because your reactions brought me joy to hear to when I saw you guys, you know, react like that. So for me, the Prickly Pete one, as an example, Ben, was just a luck of the draw. But if I prepare something like I prepared Regav Cell, I prepared Osei. Osei is just a simple female English accent with I use my voice to talk a little bit higher pitched. That's probably the simplest, but then you've got, you know, the Round Terry where I just love talking like that. It's about liking it, personally.
So if I told you to speed round 10 voices now, could you do it?
No.
10, that's a
Just
big
like-
number.
Just like 1, 2 words, 10 voices.
Okay, let's do this. No, very much, Regav Cell. I don't think so. Oh, you think you like this? You think you got it? Hello there. Hello. Oh, yes, I am. What do you say? Oh, what's going on here? This is Verita Nol Doletto. This is very much. Okay then. I am one of the gnomes. The gnomes from, Rote, yes. Ulka says that she's from Mistmarsh. No, I can only do 8. I can only think of 8 off the cuff, so sorry.
You haven't done Prickly Pete!
Yeah, but hey, wait, your normal voice is 1 as well, so it's 9.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And then Prickly
That-
Pete's just...
We'll call that common.
No way to say this, but it's so super good. But remember, I've practiced those, so...
Still, that's 10 in your arsenal.
I love that.
That was awesome.
That was really cool. I didn't expect you to do it. I
So
can't
a
wait to
little
clip that.
little golf clap.
That was
Do
beautiful.
you dig into much like source material for your voices?
I go on YouTube, I look up some voice, you know, some different voices there, yeah. So I do listen out for things that I feel like I'd be good at, you know, speaking. I think even if you're not very good at it, just have fun with it. A lot of the effort comes from just making sure that it's maintained. Maintaining it is the most difficult thing. going from a Russian accent to a British is so easy to do, for example, or going from a French to an Italian. It's just you just have to maintain it, and that to me is the most frustrating thing. I can hear myself start to drop it, and then I have to pause and then reapply it straight away. So anyway, that's just that's the end. That short and long answer to that question, Ben. But those are what I would offer.
Yeah.
Can I move us to talk about a spell, if that's okay? If I talked about this before, Chris. If you've got like the player's handbook on hand, just to make it easier to look up, is that cool with everybody? If we talk about a couple of spells that I found to be, oh my god, that's his childhood memory. Jesus.
There you go. Yeah, some of us would remember this.
Wow.
Wow.
Not the player's handbook though. Good for putting your children to sleep though.
That's true. I like
Let me-
that.
Yeah.
You should bring that to us now.
Yeah. What? That's the next Twitch stream.
Chris's
Chris is
bedtime
reading.
stories.
Chris's bedtime stories.
You could definitely get some inspiration. Like, look at this: lazy lions lounging in the local library.
It's a thing. It's a thing. Pets of a I don't know a zookeeper in Shan can have these lions lazing about, but suddenly one of them becomes a little bit hungry and decides to have some snack, and there goes the zookeeper. Sad face. But I'd love everyone to look up the spell slow.
Oh yeah. Great spell.
I think it's the most underused spell, and it frustrates the hell out of any DM I talk to about this. Just because of the stuff that has to happen in the background. So if you don't have it, I'll read it out to you. But let me know.
3rd level spell, right?
Yeah.
It's just finding it in the handbook is
Page 277? Nearly?
Okay, cool.
We're a little bit.
I've got it. I've got it.
Yeah. Can I suggest a quick way to find stuff? I just go to D&D and Beyond.
Yeah.
And then you've got the search
Yeah.
bar up there, and
Yeah.
you just put in whatever you're looking for. It'll take you straight to the source.
I actually go to google.com.
could do that.
I type in what I'm meant to be searching for.
Amazing.
Okay, we found it.
So let's assume that you've got a drop of molasses and the concentration spell lasts a whole minute, right? So let's read it out for the people in the chat. Welcome. We're just talking about slow. So just say they fail their saving throw. An affected target's speed is already halved. It takes a -2 penalty to armor class and dexterity saving throws, and it can't use reactions. On its turn, it can use either an action or a bonus action, not both. Regardless of the creature's abilities or magic items, it can't make more than one melee or ranged attack during its turn. If the target creature attempts to cast a spell with a casting time of 1 action, roll a d20. On an 11 or higher, the spell doesn't take effect until the creature's next turn, and the creature must use its action on that turn to complete the spell. If it can't, the spell is wasted.
That sucks.
I'm sorry, but what the shit?
That's too, like, that nerfs a lot of what I can do, and a lot of what you can do as well, Amara. Like, that, you have a reaction, or the character, Amara, has a reaction where you can, like, grab arrows out of the air, right?
Yeah, so that would definitely not help. That being said, like I think I have the benefit of being able to just to hit things. So it still hit something.
Yeah. I
It
would have-
says it's
I'd have to.
available.
Get it.
It says available for sorcerers and wizards.
Correct.
Mm.
Correct. So definitely limited to class. That's a very good point. Unless you pick up maybe a scroll, you can pick up a scroll of slow on an off chance if the DM just wants you to go all out. But I think thinking about so you have to be level 5 to cast this, yeah. So think
3rd level?
There's a 3rd level spell, so it would be level 5. I'd
Oh.
say, yeah, that makes
Level
sense.
5, yeah, okay, yeah.
So there's just so many facets to this that make an enemy creature that you're versing so much easier. Let's take the Will-O-Wisp as an example, right? So already its armor class is 17, not 19. It has a -2 on dex saving throws, even though the dex saving throw is ridiculous. It can only use one ability or one action. So moving from a Will-O-Wisp to say just any creature that has more than one attack, do slow on a Tarrasque. It doesn't have 5 attacks anymore.
Can I throw some complexity into the situation and ask what you would accept as a DM? Would you allow this to stack with other abilities like terrain abilities and stuff like that too?
Of course.
So anyone that can manipulate the terrain
Of course.
and then stack this on top?
Yeah. Why not? Like, I think it's best served as a complement to any other spell. It's definitely something that is such a party buff. It's a party buff to me. Like, it helps out everybody. The spell that they cast, if they have a spell that they cast, it's not used in that turn. I mean, that means everyone has another round until it can do anything.
Yeah. Imagine casting like Fireball, right? And it doesn't go off until next turn. Like, and by then, if you're aiming at that creature has an opportunity to move out of the way, and you've got another player character behind that creature or something. Like, you've just wrecked one of your party members.
I wonder, does it affect initiative rolls if you cast this out of combat? It wouldn't, would it? Or would you just RP that?
It probably, the rules don't say that it does, which is interesting because it's definitely affecting dexterity, but it's dexterity saving throws, not checks.
Yeah.
So it can still react pretty well. So I'd say probably not for initiative rolls.
Does haste? I wonder, does haste have a similar ability? Because haste is the polar opposite to slow. So do you get a plus to your AC? Maybe we can look at that. And an extra cast and action?
So going over to haste, let's have a quick squiz. So are you saying if you cast slow on the creature and then you cast haste on it?
Brings it back up
Or
to
just in general, but I'd imagine that would like level it out.
+2 to AC.
Choosing one creature that sees within range until the spell target speed is doubled again at a time.
What was that,
It's
Sheldon?
the opposite.
Action.
Were you saying something, Sheldon?
No.
Oh, okay. But I think you're right, Sheldon. It's basically the polar opposite. You are right. Like, you get your DC saving throw back, you get your AC back, you gain your additional action back.
See, I'm imagining what it would be like to be on the receiving end of slow. Because the 40-foot square radius, like, that's when you travel as a party, you're all within that.
That's right.
So if you've got, if there's a sneaky wizard amongst whatever you're about to fight, all of a sudden you start that fight at a massive disadvantage.
You're all together, right? You're all within 40 feet of each other. It affects all of you if you fail the saving throw. Definitely.
And that 50-50, like, that's a lot of some of those spells that might not work might be the heals. Like, healing spells that I need to throw out to save characters as well.
So do you think as a 3rd level spell, being level 5 to need to cast it, do you think it's OP? Do you think there's any, do you see any disadvantage with the spell?
I think Sheldon makes a really good point. I actually think it's balanced, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't think it's OP because I think it's situational still. Because if your party is amongst the mix, then you're affecting everybody. It's a 40-foot radius, and that means also vertically too. So you'd have to be able to land it successfully immediately with a group of whoever you're fighting who's clustered together. And I just think back to our experience. That's not always a thing.
But do you think
That's true, we do move around a lot.
But do you think even one of you or two of you in a place with slow on you, I still think that would be pretty devastating depending on who it hits.
Yeah, could you imagine if Gunnar had slow on him? He'd be wrecked.
Yeah.
He'd be right for the taking.
It's a concentration spell too, though. So you will just spam the wizard basically the next turn and hope.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, so slow to me, its range is 120 feet, so you can get it from anywhere. Concentration is up to a minute, so that's I think that's where the Achilles heel is, because remember concentration, which I'll get to because I want to talk about that. The concentration thing is basically if you get hit with an attack and you fail the concentration check, the spell suddenly doesn't work anymore. So I think that's where people would need to take advantage of it, to hit a creature that casts a spell hard enough so it loses that concentration. Any other thoughts to slow?
I would rather be on the casting side of it than the receiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We definitely should be faster at using it.
I think
I wonder if Gunnar had that spell.
look, if Gunnar had that spell,
Maybe.
I think you all would be a lot more
We would know.
inclined. Yeah, I think you'd know what you're doing. I think I do want to. Can you think of another spell that you'd like to have a discussion about that you might think is weird or
I would love to bring up a spell.
yeah?
Just to jump in and be a jerk. I don't know if you guys have read much of the Wildemount book. If you haven't, you can look up this spell. The spell is called Reality Break. And it is a pretty hectic spell. I'll read it out. So, you shatter the barriers between realities and timelines, thrusting a creature into turmoil and madness. The target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw, or it can't take reactions until the spell ends. The affected target must roll a d10 at the start of each of its turns. The number rolled determines what happens to the target, as shown on an effects table. It's concentration up to 1 minute, but the effect table is hectic. So, like a 1 to 2,
Yeah, wow.
the target takes 6d12 and is stunned. 3 to 5, the target must make a dex save, taking 8d12 force damage on a failed save. The target is teleported along with everything it's wearing, carrying up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space. The target also takes 10d12 force damage and is knocked prone, or the target takes 10d12 cold damage and is blinded until the end of its turn. So it's a pretty hectic spell, but it's all mental warfare, right? It's part of the new Chronergy, I think it's called, wizard.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty.
I would love to know, like, how you guys would use this.
The first thing I thought of was the wormhole one. It's so easy. The target is teleported along with everything
Yeah.
it's wearing and carrying up to 30 feet to an occupied space of your choice. So basically, not only does it take damage, but you're now hanging off the edge of a cliff, and you're just going to fall. I think out of all of them, that to me is the worst. Just a second, NVCDM, Aeoncraft, they're both on. Thank you so much for joining us. I don't know whether anyone else is in the chat, but NVCDM says Chronergy wizards are crazy, and yes, they are. They definitely are. Does everyone see this spell? I just googled it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, but what I'm trying to find is what are the material costs?
Yeah, so the material costs are a crystal prism.
Yeah, so this is.
It's also an 8th level spell.
Yeah. Oh, of course. So you'll probably.
So that's
you'll probably be
level 12.
packing crystal prisms, eating crystal prisms, like they'd be everywhere at that level. But actually, that's I think where, just on a side note, when it comes to spell choice, for me, it actually comes down to the material costs as well, and how likely you want to like cast that spell versus how effective it can be. You know, whether you can pull it off or not. So they're the three things I think about is like cost versus can you land it versus how effective is it for spell choice. A crystal prism's easy to get.
That's it. Like an 8th level spell, you'd assume not, right?
Well, what are your thoughts on materials, DM?
Yeah, I'd love to know that.
Well, like I've said, I've said this. I think it was sort of a bit of a rule I've tasked you with. I guess trusted you to remember. If not, that's okay. But I'll reiterate. From level 4, like level 4 spells and above, not class, not your class, but the spell level 4 and above, you need the component.
Mm,
Do you remember me mentioning that?
mm,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think sometimes it might be worth still mentioning as well.
Yeah.
Not necessarily just as a reminder, but like even just for
we're done.
oh yeah, but also maybe for the thematic
Yeah.
description of what's going on. You know, actually incorporating that material into casting that spell and like how that can be described. That could be really interesting and fun and worthwhile when you, for example, using a diamond or something like that. I want to hear some solid descriptions because that wasn't cheap. You know.
Yeah. Well, for
Mm.
me,
Yeah,
I've got to say, Sheldon, you're the best at it. You definitely.
I was about to say, shout out to Sheldon. I've heard him when he casts the spell. I don't know. I think they're below 3rd or below, but I have heard you say, "Oh yeah, I've pulled this thing out and done this."
Yeah,
thing."
you spent like a solid 10 minutes once, like crushing some bones.
Yeah.
Using 2 sessions later, yeah.
But I think it's cool. Sheldon, you were going to say something?
Oh no, mostly that like I'm really aware of like Revivify in particular, and that costs like 300 gold worth of diamonds, which isn't that much to bring someone back, but if you don't have it, it's pretty hard to find. Like you're not just gonna find it like the oldie tavern.
Definitely. Like a jewelry store would have it though. Like, and the jewelry stores are not too uncommon. You just have to have the gold then.
Yeah.
Aeon Craft said most people are just anything worth gold you need are like the 4th and over style. So thank you. It's just something I thought. But yeah, I think having the description, like Chris said, about casting the spell with the component and describing it is really, really cool. I think you should, because you have spent the money on it, definitely. I think, and you're right, I should mention it more often just so everyone is aware. Going back to reality.
Yeah, I
Break-
wouldn't mind seeing a
Yeah.
villain crush some bones. Just
Exactly.
mid fight, just like pulls out a bone.
Yeah. What does everyone else think about the spell Emily brought up?
Would love to use it on something. I would agree with you. If you can move someone into an advantageous position, I mean, granted, the battlefield you're using it on, like that moving of them off a cliff or is going to be pretty good. What was the other one? The last one, I think. I don't have the spell in front of me.
These
So,
are like this is amazing damage, by the way.
well, cool.
Yeah, I did.
In VCDM, we'll get to time ravage in a moment because I've just looked that up. That's pretty crazy. But what do you think about is this damage for an 8th level spell? You're only affected by one of them. Let's think average damage. It'd be about 60 points of damage average, right? For a 10d12, yeah.
Let's go with the 8d12 maybe. Oh no, actually probability between 6 and 10 if you roll is between 6 and 10 is 10d12, so
and average damage of that is 60, so it's definitely a lot of damage. I think once you get to level, what level minimum? Level 16, 15. Level 15 you can cast a spell, right? I think at that point you'd probably have the healing abilities to get most of that back in one round. When you're thinking about a potion and a spell. But that would be a round gone. But I don't think that would be too hard to get back if you remember what you've got on you.
10d12 and a mage or something is going to be pretty brutal.
It is. But I think at that point, looking at other spells in your arsenal, I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't actually seem, apart from that one that teleports you 30 feet, which can be devastating. You can end up in the middle of stone. Oh, like that sort of scenario. But the damage itself.
It's an unoccupied space.
Yeah.
So it couldn't
over
be
a cliff. Over a cliff. Yeah. So
Um,
situational.
I think though, like the flavor text of it would be so cool.
Yeah.
Like having that described mid like battle would be dope. On top
Mhm.
of that, like one of these different things happens every round.
Yeah.
So like every
Ah,
round it's a
really?
different thing in the table.
Right.
But the creature gets to, because it's designed to be something that you feel like your brain is like going crazy.
Yeah.
You're essentially stepping into alternate realities, right? So that on top of the fact that okay, you're taking like average potentially 60 damage every round unless you beat the DC. So
Mhm.
I think the DC is going to be super important because like if you got someone that's super tank,
Three out of the
then yeah.
four effects, their secondary ability is actually incredibly useful. So it's almost like the damage is the bonus, and the effect that you get after succeeding is definitely worth it, because the first one is stunned, the second one is ho hum, but the third one, wormhole, is prone, and the last one is blinded.
Yep.
So when you get one of those plus the damage, yeah, that's pretty good on a single target. That's like effing everyone else up.
Mm.
If you use wormhole and you just drop them from 30 feet straight down to the ground, do they take full damage on top of?
Probably.
Yeah, they would.
30 feet is interesting. The rule in the book is you take, I think it's, you start taking damage at 60 feet. I'm pretty sure. So it's I think it's something
How?
like 1d10 damage every 60 feet. Go on.
That's a long way to fall.
But remember,
60 feet.
If I fell 30 feet, I would not be okay.
but we're talking
Yeah.
D&D.
Yeah, because we know that orcs in real life would sustain damage.
Okay, so you take. I just looked it up. You take 1d6 bludgeoning damage for every 10 feet.
feet. That's right. I got it all wrong. True.
So that's like a long.
That's a lot of
a
damage.
long way.
So we got what, 3d10. No, sorry, 3d6. Is that
Yeah.
right? Yeah. 3d6
So
damage.
say you like bring it in at 60 feet. Then
Yeah.
that's not a lot of damage for falling 60 feet.
Well, that's 66, right?
Yeah, the maximum is a D20. Is a 20d6.
Yeah, that's max. You can always go more than that if your DM is super mean, but yeah. So that's what, 180 damage max, which is pretty significant, really.
I'd be effed up, sure.
Yep. If you go.
So
Go on.
the most my character could fall, Thorum could fall without dying, is 130 feet.
And how high is that in comparison to what we see nowadays?
Yeah, let's have a little bit of a look.
What
So
building or monument is 130 feet tall? Just so I know, like just for personal DM curiosity.
you're looking at
Are we
like
A house is like what? Maybe 15 feet tall if it's a double.
looking at a 9-story building.
A 9-story building. Good to know. Thank you.
You're dead. In human reality.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
That's what I
lame.
mean. Like my character. So if it's an 8-story building on full HP, I should theoretically just be able to just
Yeah, you
leap
got
off
dragon
of it,
scales.
hit the ground, just get up, and be like, that really hurt. I'm gonna sleep that off. Whereas if you tried that in real life,
Depends on.
Maybe this is where the DM gives some quirks, like you got to
Yeah.
bunk.
I
there,
feel
you know,
like you should
real-
get. I feel like full damage should be more intense than it is.
What in D&D?
Yeah, I feel like it should be once you fall more than like it should get incrementally worse. It should be like if you fall more than 30 feet, you roll like a D6, then a D8 for another 10 feet.
Maybe
and
it's
then a
times
D12.
instead of just adding extra dice.
I think it's more
Yeah.
realistic. Well, more realistic, no, just easier, I guess, to make you break a leg or break 2 legs or break your arm or have one of your parts of your body limbs like affected, so you can't hold a shield or something. I think that's to me. I think I'd find that easier. Have like a maim yourself.
That is more
I played a session once where all of the party I was with was wasted drunk and I was the sober one. And we were investigating this room and we found a trapdoor. And the trapdoor had a ladder, and because everyone was drunk, except for me, everyone had to roll like saves going down this ladder, or checks, I should say. And Preston's character fell, and like this ladder was like 90 feet tall. Like it was wrecked. No, it was in the other Everard one. But he was left with like he had some sort of spell that could like I think halve that damage or something like that. I don't know how it worked. This was a long time ago.
permanently.
He had 1 hit point left by the time he landed, and like he was like the cause of my death is going to be this ladder. It's ridiculous.
Crazy. Yeah, it's underestimated.
90
there's-
feet.
Yeah,
That's 4.5 seconds of falling.
that's
That's
crazy.
that's and he hit the ground.
That's nuts. Like that would seem like forever. That would be horrifying.
Takes 9. Is it 9 seconds from the top of the Sydney Harbour Bridge
I
to hit
don't-
the water?
I don't want to know. I really don't want to know anymore.
Fun facts.
Yeah.
Let's not fall off.
But you
buildings.
die before you hit the water because of the force. You
Great.
suffocate.
Great. So, let's move on to
Yeah,
D&D
D&D
stuff.
needs to roll suffocating.
Yeah,
while
and
you're
that's
falling.
why fall damage is ridiculous in D&D.
So,
Unless you fall into a gelatinous cube and you're alright.
that is true. Then you just take lots of acid damage.
You drop to
I love
like
it.
0 gravity when you're inside the.
The
Unless you're making it rain feather tokens, like our party is.
Wait, we have so many of those.
Right.
Oh no! Barclay should have given us his before he left.
Well, he could somehow left his stuff somewhere that you could somehow like
By the
get
way,
it
guys,
out of,
You
or
buried it in
somehow
the bottom
place
of
stuff.
Cactus Peak.
Yeah.
all that gold that he had, he's gone.
Prickly Peak.
Well, Thorum's
that's
got
right.
2 platinum.
He does. That's true. Time ravage.
Best
Time
gift
ravage.
ever.
The MVCD
Yes.
was saying time ravage. I'll read it out to you. It's a level 9 necromancy spell. So
Correct.
the components needs to be an hourglass filled with diamond dust worth at least 5,000 gold pieces.
Holy smokes.
Then you target a creature you can see within range, putting its physical form through a devastation of rapid aging. The target must make a Constitution saving throw, taking 10d12 necrotic damage on a failed save, or half as much if it succeeds. If the save fails, the target also ages to the point where it has only 30 days left before it dies of old age. In this age state, the target has disadvantage of attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws, and its walking speed is halved. Only the Wish spell or Greater Restoration cast with a 9th level spell slot can end these effects.
I just want to say that thank you, NBC DM, for putting this in Michaela's mind because this shit's gonna appear. I can feel it.
This
Look at
is,
his face. Look at how happy he is.
Definitely, this is definitely an incredible extortion spell.
Mm.
How
And I
so?
think
How
if you
so?
wanted to, if you wanted to frisk your pals, you know, like you could, you've only got 30 days, or actually no, if you cast it and you've only got 30 days, well, they've only got 30 days. Like, you know, it's up to them to resolve it. You can't cancel the spell effects, can you?
Only by a greater
You
restoration,
can,
greater restoration or wish.
That's it.
which makes
But
it sound like a roleplay spell, like okay, this is the start of a quest to find that wish spell or heal you type of spell. Because otherwise, you would just cast inflict wounds at half the spell level, at like level 6, and you're still, or like at level. What level is this spell? Sorry.
Or even lesser
It
restoration.
Yeah, I would definitely go around just threatening to cast this on people to see what I could like collect as a result of doing that.
Oh, I
You
see
do it
what
once
you
a day.
mean.
Hmm.
I see what
So
you mean.
is it a 5th level spell?
Yes.
So that's like 60 tens of necrotic damage.
So what
which
you
you can do a
what are you
bunch of
saying
times.
with
So I'm just saying, if you're wanting to kill your target with necrotic damage,
Yeah.
you'd use like
Has
a
anyone
bunch of
seen the movie?
much less expensive spells.
Oh, I
This
see what
is-
you mean. This is, yes, like Chris was saying, this is something to make someone suffer. Yeah.
This is some, yeah.
I see. This is a quest. This
It's
is
like a
RPG.
Bailu comes back to life and wants to take it out on us.
Hmm.
Sort of spell.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Man, time ravage. I don't know. I think the components to make this, you'd have to get someone to physically make an hour. I mean, who would stock an hourglass with diamond dust in it? Like, this is a
No,
specialized.
you can have an empty one and like unscrew it or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe it's
actually,
a screw top.
this is. I have a question about materials again. Are there spells that will allow you to conjure things that you could then use
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
technically
Yeah.
other spells?
The spell is called creation. I'll just bring it up.
Requires 5,000 gold pieces worth of.
It requires a tiny. Oh, that's interesting. A tiny piece of matter of the same type of the item you plan to create. So, I think it would work.
Well, if you were extorting people, you keep a slither of it,
Yeah.
cast that other spell, make another one, and just keep extorting people.
Yeah.
The thing I like about these spells is, I think there's a lot of RP flavor. You could tie that into like maybe a quest where someone's trying to get these components to like do that to somebody.
If we're then identifying OP spells, then wouldn't creation be an OP spell? If I got a small piece of gold, conjured a large piece of gold, did that once every rest over 35 sessions.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's definitely something that can be exploited, depending on what you want to do. Now, this is the interesting thing. It has a particular time frame where you can actually make these things. So, if so the duration depends on the object's material. If the object is composed of multiple materials, use the shortest duration. Vegetable matter takes a day to make. Stone or crystal takes 12 hours. Precious metals takes an hour. Gems 10 minutes. Adamantine 1 minute. So yeah, look, Exclamity, hello. Dello Exclamity, great to have you on. We're talking about D&D spells. We're talking about creation at the moment, with amazing Fate's Gripcast. So I think in your case, I think it would come under precious metals, which would take an
I'd say
hour.
so.
Yeah. So yeah, look, you could exploit it. Creation is a cool spell. You'd use up a 5th level spell slot. I think that, to me, is the, you know, it's a powerful spell slot to just give up. Especially if you go into a battle, you'd be without like a potential. I think, I don't know what other 5th level spells are there as an equivalent. Let's have a quick squiz. Sorcerer would be the one, so you couldn't do something like Cone of Cold. Dominate Person is the same level. Teleportation Circle. So these things are just a compromise, right? Did I? Oh, I did. I did spell more like Moreau. I meant it. Thank you very much.
Bro. And bro.
So I don't know. Do you think?
And bro.
Do you think with this creation spell, you'd want to take advantage of that? Did anyone know about creation?
Nope. But
I haven't checked creation.
Just to put it in context again, it would be available for a sorcerer, wizard, artificer, forged domain, or the genie, which is at UA, by the way. But I think if I was one of those, I potentially would see if I could, definitely cast it. Maybe in more RP moments, out of combat, that type of thing, and just make use of it in that time.
Mm-hmm. What would you?
Just mid-battle start creating shit.
Or I'll be like, guys, this is not a good time to go into combat.
What do you think they mean by vegetable matter?
Food.
Potatoes.
chat, we're talking about creation. Write in if
Endless chips.
endless chips, yeah.
Mm.
Like I don't think vegetable matter just means vegetables. It's just something tells me
No,
there's
food.
more to this because it takes the longest amount of time. Where is it again? I can't even see it anymore. Creation.
Maybe crops.
Is it crops? Is it actual like
Maybe.
flesh? Is it flesh?
You can create
What's-
flesh, but you can't create
What is
living
vegetable
things.
matter?
You can't create living things.
So you can make
Mm.
like like this arm.
Maybe it's like compost.
What
Like,
is
just-
vegetable matter?
Vegetables all like thrown into a pig trough.
I guess I just wonder why it takes a day, whereas something as simple as gold would take 10 minutes. You know, like
Maybe.
RP wise, I get it.
How long does it take you to get vegetable matter? An hour.
No, vegetable matter is a day.
I'm just looking up
Maybe
what,
it's
what
like-
vegetable matter is.
You know how they feed those coffee beans to those little animals? You can wait to pass it
Okay, yeah. To the
and then
possums.
take it out.
Why are you talking about poop
I
again?
think I actually just.
That is apparently the best coffee in the world.
They're being
It
purely
is,
objective.
apparently.
They're being purely objective with this. I think a vegetable is more complex in its creation
Yeah.
than something like a mineral. If
Yeah.
you broke it down into how much complexity there is into creating that thing.
Yeah, fair. Oh, hold on. It says here. Maybe I should read the description, guys. So it says it creates a non-living object of vegetable matter within range, soft goods, whatever that means, rope, wood, or something similar. So that's interesting. So rope. and-
Thanks for wasting my time, Michaela.
Oh God, I'm so
I mean, that-
sorry.
That makes sense though. So it's mostly
just-
that you can't use it just to RP your way out of situations.
I'd imagine so. Yeah.
To avoid like traps and stuff.
Yeah, just plant parts, I guess. Yeah, plant parts exclamatory would work as well. That's true. Yeah, interesting.
So say your buddy going
No,
back
not
to
woodwork, plant parts.
Oh my God.
going back to the intellect of ours we were talking about before.
I made him flicker in and out of existence.
We could, yeah, you could add parts to Prickly Pete.
Probably. You can make it have
There you
little
You
little.
could build him a
plant
whole
pads.
body.
Yeah, you could make him like the straw man from Wizard
Make
of
him a
Oz.
little like was it Final Fantasy VII, the cactus people? And little cactus enemies.
No,
So vegetable matter.
yeah.
Going back to the intellect devourer,
Mhm.
say it's eating your buddy's brain, is then your buddy then vegetable matter?
I guess so. So you can then.
He'd have to be dead. Your buddy would have to be dead.
He's a vegetable.
Wow.
Oh my god! Can I quit this stream?
That's a good point. That's a good point. Very valid. It's
Wow.
it's interesting how.
Don't all jump in at once and save my place. Thanks, guys.
No. Wait,
No, Emily, don't leave.
Speaking of which, before I go to my next spell, how's everyone for time? We're at 10 p.m. We are in Australia, everyone. If you haven't noticed, and we're talking about D&D stuff. But does anyone want to go? Does anyone want another like maybe do one more thing? What do you reckon?
I might have to jump off and call me mum back. But
That's
this
fine.
Call.
No problem at all, man. Thank you so much for joining us. What about everybody else? Just before you go.
Yeah, I'm cool for a bit longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit longer.
Okay, sweet.
All
So
right, easy.
thank you very much, man, for joining us.
Take care, man. Thanks for joining.
Thank you so much, guys. I'll catch you in next stream.
Cool, man. See ya.
Stay handsome.
Exclamity, I'm sorry.
Oh, thank God he stopped.
Let's get to the good stuff.
Okay, look, let's talk about Dragonborn and what their vulnerabilities are, and let's just get in there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how to make Thorum's 5 into Amara's 5.
Hey, Exclamity, I couldn't keep in here. I'm sorry. And Aeoncraft, look, you're welcome to stay as long as we stream. We're happy to have you. If you guys have any questions on chat about what you if you want us to bring up a topic, either for tonight or for another session, let us know in Twitter as well. 7 a.m. Exclamity, where are you from? I don't believe we've met, but welcome. And thanks for
Oh,
joining the chat.
excellent how many tunes in every week,
Oh,
bro.
dude, I'm so
Every...
sorry. I
Yeah.
should know this, but I don't have the
That
chat
being
open. I
said,
get a bit distracted.
I guess just a big thing for like anyone who's watching. Michele he never sees the chat like ever. He's so engrossed. And we're all sitting there like, yeah, what are you saying? Sorry, Michele, can you just repeat that? History check. Yep, thank you.
I don't know whether I should just one evening. Oh God, Chris's hand's so big. I don't know whether I should one evening just
Where,
go
That's
chat.
his
where do
mage
you see the? I'm trying to find the chat button.
Oh no, you have to. I'm watching the Twitch at the same time.
Oh man, it's so cool to be connected from like for people all the way in New York as well.
I don't want to go back to New York so bad.
Look, we're gonna play WoW again, Aeoncraft. It's gonna be fun. We'll get another WoW stream going. Moving on
What are you doing
to
tomorrow night?
tomorrow night. Look, I don't think I'm doing much, so hold on tight.
There you go.
Look, I'll pass it by you guys if you want to talk about this spell because it's definitely a very topical spell. But
Tropical spell.
tropical. But Wish. Do you want to go through Wish a bit?
Yeah, let's
Let's
do
look
it.
at Wish. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could like give me an opportunity to use this spell in Fate's Grip. That would be cool.
So let's read it. It's a
I would like to say
spell.
that too, but I don't know if I accidentally used it.
That's true. You never know. Now, components.
Look at that. The facade is still there.
True. Aeoncraft says ban Wish. This is interesting. We'll read about what this does right now. So there's no material components for this wish, for this spell. It's the mightiest spell a mortal creature can cast. By simply speaking aloud, you can alter the very foundations of reality in accord with your desires. The basic use of this spell is to duplicate any other spell of 8th level or lower. You don't need to meet any requirements to that spell. Alternatively, you can create one of the following effects. You can create like 25,000 gold pieces. You can allow 20 creatures to regain all hit points. You can grant 10 creatures you can see resistance to a certain type of damage. It looks like that's permanent. You can grant 10 creatures immunity for a single spell for 8 hours. You can undo a single recent event by forcing a re-roll of any roll made within the last round. You can... you might be able to achieve something beyond the scope of the above examples. The DM, it's very, very RP. For example, you wish...
RP or
look, absolutely. The stress... Okay, this is where the detriment of spell comes in. The stress of casting the spell to produce any effect weakens you. After enduring the stress each time you cast a spell until you finish a long rest, you take 1d10 necrotic damage per level of that spell. This damage can't be reduced or prevented. Your strength drops to 3. And there's a 33% chance you are unable to cast Wish ever again. So a third of a chance.
worth it.
First of all, I think it's one thing to say that, one thing to note for me, I think the wording of the spell, like all the other people have talked about with this, is imperative. It's so easy to manipulate the spell. I think you have to word this very, very, very well. But that's easy to metagame. It's easy to metagame without your characters knowing about that in the game, right?
Yeah.
I see Wish.
I've been thinking about that a lot, actually.
Yeah, it's definitely the top number one rule that I've heard of before casting the Wish spell. I think it's not too bad to say that I don't mind the fact there's a 33% chance you'll never be able to cast a spell again if you have it in your spell slots. I think it's pretty limitless, which is why I think Aeoncraft is looks like he's against it. It's hard for me to tell it's harder for me to ask, but if you had the wish spell now as level 10, because you're all level 10 characters in the scenario you're in, what would you use it on? If you had to use it, if you couldn't hold on to it like a scroll.
Could you wish to be level 20?
No.
It doesn't stipulate that.
You couldn't say it in that term, surely, because that's a metagaming use of the spell. You could say, I wish I
Well-
was the strongest I could humanly possibly be.
I can't see where
but-
you can wish for. I can't see how you can ask for anything though. It stipulates exactly what you can do. You can undo events.
So this is it. You might be able to achieve something beyond the scope of the above examples. State your wish to the DM as precisely as possible. The DM has great latitude in ruling what occurs in such an instance. The greater the wish, the greater the likelihood that something goes wrong. The spell might simply fail. The effect you desire might only be partly achieved.
Oh, I see. Okay, I'm reading the next section, which is like, alternatively, you can create one of the following effects of your choice.
Yeah. Now,
So it's like, if you can't think of what to do, we've got some things for you.
that's it. So this is Exclamity saying, just wish for great role playing. I love that. It's all in the wording, Aeoncraft, you are right. And Exclamity, like to your point, Rook, if you did you want to be the most powerful person, your strength could just go to 20, and that's it, right? So it's
Exclamation.
I like it, Exclamity. That's a good point. But it's I now want to see you, Exclamity, to see if you're actually being truthful and can float. But what would you use it on? So you reckon to be the most powerful, you reckon you want to be level 20. Would that be what you'd use it on?
Oh, without I was just out of interest to be.
What would Rook use it on?
What would he use it on?
Killed a lot of blades.
Nah, because you can already do that.
Flex.
I think that's hard.
Have a think about it, because I think it's interesting. It'd be so easy to introduce the spell. Like, it's interesting as well that the first thing you didn't say was save Osei.
Well, that's what I would use it for. Straight up. Cure vampirism, done.
I voiced my alternative option on how to save her.
No, we're not killing her.
It's interesting, like with what you're up against at the moment. As a I guess in part I'm glad that there are so many possibilities for you to wish on something, your own backstory to be resolved, or strength or power. Like Aeoncraft said, what's the most powerful? Is it strength? Is it ruler of the lands? Is it destroying your enemies? Like,
You couldn't undo the Mournlands though with a wish spell.
You
Well,
can
I don't.
undo an
I don't
event.
imagine that you could.
You can undo an event though.
Otherwise, someone surely would have done that by now.
But like that's where I guess something like the greater the wish, the greater the likelihood that something goes wrong. So like wishing to undo an entire like event like the
Yeah,
Mournlands
true.
being like destroyed. Well, what's the ramification for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Siri turns out
this
to be
this spell is intended to go hard with,
fine.
but then you would go through this checklist of caveats to get you to a point where, am I happy with what the outcome could be? You know, and I don't necessarily know if the trade-offs would be worth it for a lot of characters, to be honest, in a lot of situations. And
It's like
and
the
then
Adam
33%
Sandler
chance of not being able to cast it again
Yeah.
means that
real.
you probably still want to go pretty hard with it. Instead of like wishing for a sandwich.
Yeah.
What could be something dumb that you'd wish for?
a sandwich.
But what does that sandwich
Like
do?
If you just say I wish for
Yeah.
a sandwich,
It's a mimic.
It's a club sandwich.
I mean, what would disappear? What would reappear? That's right. Yeah. So instead of a sandwich, you might get a sandwich that's 5,000 feet tall, and it crushes you.
Or you get stuck in between two individuals.
Cloudy with a chance of meatballs, is that right?
I didn't want this.
Can I say though? Here's the thing. This is throwing back to the DM. If you wish to undo a character's fate, and you got to think about the background narrative that might already be in play, and the turmoil that it could throw that into, is this something that you would likely explore?
Undoing someone's.
Oh, say lives.
Mm-hmm.
Kill Farizo.
Yeah. I mean, all those things are possible and doable with a wish spell. It just depends on what they leave behind.
Mm-hmm.
You might not know that information. So they might have, in Farisa's example, say, for example, he's got that nimbus around King Boronel, protecting him from the disease. That nimbus then disappears. There's flow-on effects from that. He infects other people, or he dies because something else is protecting him apart from the nimbus. It's a flow-on effect. So definitely doable, but with consequences, and that's something that the players have to sort of.
Do you think in the world of Corvair, do you think they would know about Wish?
Yeah. Yep.
Again, I think
What's been mentioned?
this could be really used in an extortionary sense as well.
Yeah.
For leverage.
Extortion everybody, bro.
Peter out here trying to extort everyone. He's gonna come back into the campaign as Barclays the Snitch, or like guy that's just extorting everyone.
The extortionary savior.
I reckon here's what we do. You just bring in a djinn again, Michele, and give us all a wish and see what happens.
It's so weird. I haven't touched the book, but I'm on the page in the Monsters Manual of a djinn, and I wanted to do that because I wanted to see how difficult it would be for a level 10 party to capture one, to then help perform this thing. Now, it looks here, I'll read it out in the description of a genie. He's exclaiming, he's imagining a beach episode with a sand witch making sand golems, and now a sand dragon. Amazing. Given the monkey's paw, yes, that would be amazing. NBCDM. So, a genie power. The genie power to grant wishes is legendary among mortals. Only the most potent genies, such as those amongst the nobility, can do so. To expand. Yes. Yeah, look, it's the same thing. Depending on the genie's nature, the genie might try to pervert the intent of the wish by exploiting the wish's poor wording. It can only do one wish a year. So, a genie can be easily coerced. It doesn't have to be caught, it looks like, to force a wish out of it. But even though that's the easier way to do it, again, the wording is your enemy.
Would you want to capture a genie?
Well,
because we saw what happened with Orlex.
I wouldn't want to capture a genie. I would want one to be my friend and offer to grant wishes.
Sounds like a movie.
Yeah, like, does every djinn look like Will Smith?
Or Robin Williams.
Well,
Michaela's disappeared. He's gone.
Just going, nah,
He's going
I'm
to
out,
find
I'm
out.
out of here.
he's having a close look at his pocket gin.
No, it's funny. I tried to put up.
I will say
the
that's
book.
your fault, because the first djinn that you described ever was literally Will Smith.
No, it's this one in the monster manual. There it is. See. Yeah.
No, that's Will Smith, right
Yeah,
there.
well, I should.
The Monster Manual was out before.
I should have
hold
made it
on.
like that. That's I can't. The Chroma Cam doesn't like me, but that's what another genie looks like. Anyway, I hadn't seen Aladdin, so I didn't know, and I'm concerned. But no, they don't all look like that. But yeah. So look, it looks like a genie would be if you were able to see one again. I know. Yeah.
Wait, that's that's your next stream cosplay, by the way.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh.
The DM that
Ooh.
grants shady wishes.
So here's the thing, right? Let's talk about wording of wish. Because, like, imagine that Amara gets wish, right? And she wants to bring back Osei. It would be very easy to manipulate that into, like, I want to cure her vampirism. Oh, cool. She's immortal, but she's dead now. Like, it would be so easy to exploit that.
You know, the first thing I thought of, I don't know whether I should mention what I'm thinking if you do get a hand on that. I don't think I will. I don't think I can. It's a bit of a spoiler, depending on.
What's the likelihood of us getting a wish?
Okay, so put it this way. Remember, and that's a good question. Remember the spell that NVCDM brought up. What was it? The Time Ravage, right?
9th level.
A 9th level necromancy spell can only be overridden by a wish spell, which is level 9, and or a greater restoration spell cast at level 9. Now, a greater restoration spell is normally level 5, like Sheldon said. But you can't cast it. You have to be level 16 or 17 to cast greater restoration powerful enough to undo that. That to me just seems like wish is very dependent on the DM and the world, but it's a powerful spell. I'm not going to tell you what chances you've got or not of getting one.
We can cast Greater Restoration on Osei.
No, this is Time Ravage. This is specifically this spell, how to undo it. But thank you for trying to bait me.
Let's just cast Greater Restoration on her every day until it greater restores her.
The greatness of restore.
But the I guess the point is the commonality of wish does depend on the world. It depends on the DM. It can be pretty chaotic. Just know that it can be pretty chaotic if someone does have a hold on one. I guess in the game you're pretty lucky that Orlix didn't say much that would have a flow-on effect on the world.
What about like old mate Barclays, who just has a djinn that comes and collects him in the middle of the street?
You don't know.
It's nice having cool friends.
Exclamity says, now I'm imagining a djinn accepting wishes in turn for the party member accepting a geese. Oh. Yes, let's have a look at that just briefly. The spell?
Is it geese the fire?
No, it means like a goose.
That's exactly what I mean. Yeah. So geese is a 5th level spell. So let's read it. I pronounce it geese. I'm so sorry. But you place a magical command on a creature that you can see, forcing it to carry out some service or refrain from some action or course of activity you decide.
How do you spell it?
GEAS. You can issue any command you choose short of an activity that would result in certain death.
Ooh, bards can class this one.
Exclamity, that is so convoluted. It's so interesting. So he said, basically the djinn would command you to do something after or before he accepts making or casting a wish of your choosing. I don't know. I'm imagining a djinn accepting wishes in turn for the party member accepting a geese spell. It just seems like it wouldn't turn out. I mean, it definitely wouldn't turn out very well. Maybe the genie casts geese on you willingly, and then it tells you what to wish for. That wouldn't really work out. Oh, and in turn, can a djinn just cast wish for itself?
Whenever.
It depends on how benevolent. Yeah, I guess it depends on how benevolent. But I'd imagine the djinn wouldn't be able to cast wish on itself, right? Or just cast wish willy nilly. It's
But
only
maybe it is very aware of the consequences of casting wish
so it
and
refrains.
prefers not. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's probably
Oh.
how I would RP it.
With geese, if that's how you say it, are we saying we cast that on the genie and then get him to make a wish for us?
No, it's cast on us. I believe.
Could you do it vice versa? Some service or refrain from some action, of course. The service would be to cast wish for
That's
you.
true. That's true. That's probably how it's worded. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Cool.
And if it doesn't, it's going to take 5d10 psychic damage.
Correct. Yeah. Well,
Screw that. I don't want to take 5d10.
I think we'll leave it there. We got 10:20. We've been streaming for nearly 2.5 hours, guys. That's pretty awesome.
Should we give the loyal people that tuned in a sneak peek as to what to expect maybe on Tuesday?
Oh yeah, if you're still around.
Does that mean I have to?
If you have to what?
What's the name of the episode?
It's just called To Dust.
Ooh.
I don't like.
Potential death.
Oh my god, it's the Avengers.
Time Ravage. That's why I want to spend so much time on Time Ravage. Time on Time Ravage.
That's the name of the episode, but
Can you give us like a teaser one-liner?
ooh. Sure. The party investigates whether Fariso is who he says he is or not. That's exactly what you said at the beginning.
Casting wish.
It's a cleaning episode.
Exclamation. We've had a cleaning episode. We've had the money episode.
Yep.
No big deal.
This is a fighting episode.
It could be. I mean, you're level 10. I got to put you against something sometime. We'll see. But
No, what?
that's all the sneak peeking I got to give you. Otherwise, no one's going to watch it because it's just going to be boring.
No.
That's a lie.
Yeah, it'd still be funny.
Oh, thanks. Are you coming, Chris?
Can we
Still got
expect to see,
find out.
We'll find out.
Yeah, sweet. Huh? What
Is
was that?
Chris going to be our couch goblin?
Oh, he's going to find out.
It's,
But,
no. Actually, no. I already know the answer. No, I'm not coming because it's my dad's birthday, and we're going for.
Oh.
How did you forget your dad's birthday?
No, I
We
didn't.
didn't.
I actually organised booking at a restaurant. We're going Korean barbecue. I can't wait.
Oh, that's amazing. Have fun. Just watch our stream afterward.
I've still got my
Nigerian.
device there, so I might just have it
Nice. Good.
next to my bibimbap.
Bing, 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 bing. What?
It's a Korean dish. It's amazing.
It sounds awesome. But with that, thank you, Exclamity. I will. I'll look forward to having you on the chat on Tuesday. But if that's cool with everybody, we might call it there. And Emily, you're looking weirdly outside.
Yeah, there was just like 3 really loud cars that sped down the street.
Oh, we love that. Yeah, we love that. Well,
We do love that. We love that, Michele. Love it.
thank you for sticking around and having a chat. I hope. Give me honest feedback. If this wasn't interesting and we don't let me know, and we can either change topic. We can not do this particular thing. I just thought this was a pretty cool thing to have a bit of extra content on, just to have people talk. Still D&D related, but non-in-game related. But if you did find it interesting, bring some topics to the table, like rules or monsters and stuff, and we can gasbag about it. I personally loved it, and I think even if no one really wants to, I think I'm just going to chat to the chat the next time I stream, if no one else wants to join in. But give me some feedback.
Yeah, we're actually such a crappy time that we're all actually leaving the campaign now.
By the way, in the
I
last
won't.
in the last episode, in the last 10 minutes, you'll get a scroll. It'll have wish on it, and you won't be able to use it. Oh God. Aeoncraft, Exclamity, thanks so much for joining us. Please feel free to catch us on Tuesday, and then we'll do more of these. At least
Oh no,
I will.
Exclamity Cast.
Huh?
Exclamity Cast wish in the chat.
Uh-oh.
What do you wish for?
Well, guys,
Wish I came in
Sandwiches.
earlier.
welcome to an amazing. I don't know if we're gonna start this off this evening. It's
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Ah!
We're gonna start the stream. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's get right into it. How did you do that, Exclamity? I'm not sure, but
Can we talk about wish?
cool. All right. Thank you, guys. I'm gonna stop it there. But have
Yeah.
a good night, and I'll see you guys soon. Thank you,
Yeah.
Chad.
Thanks for joining, everyone. Massive shout out for coming in and checking on us on these random streams.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll have more for you.
Awesome. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Ciao, guys.